Back to Jeff, who graduated from Harvard. Jeff, you graduated with a degree in economics, and then you picked up the number 13 here with the New York Mets. And is there any mathematical story behind that?
Well, we were talking before. I was the only number that nobody else really wanted, so I kind of got stuck with it. I wore it at school, and when I was with Toronto, I was wearing 35 for a while. And when we got Phil Negro over there, I offered my number to him and picked up where I left off, getting 13 like I have at Harvard, and I've worn it ever since.
So you get it on right now. And Jeff, you had an arm operation. Anything about that? Is it totally recovered from the rotator cuff?
Yeah, I had it after the '87 season. I had it in December of '87, and the recovery went great. The rehabilitation has gone fantastic. I haven't had a problem with it since then, and it's stronger now than it was before the surgery. And I'm hoping that that's the case. You know, pitching out of the bullpen, make sure everything's okay with it, and I'll go from there.
Well, you were the Rookie of the Year as a pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, and we hope that continues.
I hope so too. Pitching out of the bullpen, I'm looking forward to having a good last 2 months.
And also, Ron Darling, I want to keep you here and talk to you a little bit about Frank Viola, the starting pitcher of the ball game for tonight's game, and you have classed with him before. And we'll be back right after this message from Budweiser.
Chance playing the big leagues, but didn't have any idea where we were going to be drafted. Frank had been repeatedly told by many people that he'd be picked in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, and I'd been told maybe 2nd or 3rd round. So both of us pitching in that game with about 50 or 75 scouts there increased our positions incredibly. So it was good for both of us.
Give you a few details of that game. Ron Darling pitched no hit, no run ball for 11 innings and came up on the losing side 1-0.
It was amazing. And the way I lost was that, I mean, it's been well documented. The way I lost is a guy named Steve Scaff. I'll never forget that name. Singled the first hit of the game in the 12th inning, stole 2nd, stole 3rd. I walked the guy on 1st and then stole home when they had a double steal. So that's how I lost the game. So it had a rather bleak ending to a good game.
Well, Frank Viola, of course, was the Cy Young Award winner last year in the American League and now making his first appearance for the New York Mets after the big trade. Can you tell us something about Frank?
Yeah, you know, I haven't seen Frank in 7 years, but the last time I saw him in '82, we played against each other. He was in Toledo, and I was playing in Tidewater. And when I would go to Toledo, he would have to cook me dinner, and when he came to Tidewater, I'd have to cook him dinner. So we've been pretty good friends right after that game. We just haven't seen each other in a while. The thing I remember about Frank, and I've watched him, of course, in the World Series against St. Louis here, was just how accomplished he was, even as a college pitcher. He always had 4 or 5 pitches, knew what he was doing out there, knew where to throw the ball, and it doesn't seem like anything's changed except that he's gotten a little bigger, a little stronger, throws the ball harder, and probably has a better changeup. But, you know, he's one of the, you know, if not the best left-hander, one of the best left-handers in this game.
You were signed by Texas and then later on acquired by the New York Mets, and there were some rumors going on, Ron, that you might be in the Frank Viola deal.
Yeah, I heard many rumors to it, and Frank told me when he got here yesterday that, you know, he was happy that I wasn't involved in it. He said what a shame it would have been that he had to come over here and I had to trade places with him. We'd be passing planes on the way. I'm glad I'm not either. You know, I want to stay with the Mets, and we'll see what happens. But I'm very happy here, and it's going to be a very good ending to the season. These last 2 months are going to be fun. And if we come back and win this thing, we're going to be able to stick it to a lot of people, which I'll love.
You like that? All right. We've been talking with Ron Darling, and we'll be back with a talk with Sam Palazzo, the third base coach of the New York Mets, right after this message from NatWest Bank.
Cy Young Award winner for the Minnesota Twins comes home to New York. 5 young pitchers go to Minnesota, and Frankie tries to make sweet music in his Mets and National League debut tonight, coming up next right here on Channel 9. Live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's Mets Baseball 89, as tonight the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. And Mets Baseball 89 is brought to you this evening by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By the 9X Yellow Pages. If it's out there, it's in here. By the Good Olds Guys. By the New York Daily News, New York's hometown paper. And by Aetna, the insurance company that gives new meaning to the word diligent. Pitching for the Mets tonight, it's left-hander Frank Viola in his National League and New York Mets debut. And on the mound for the Cards, Ted Power with a record of 3-4 and an ERA of 5.13.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Steve Zabriskie and Tim McCarver, who made a lot of news in this ballpark many years ago. But the big news today is something else.
Well, I'll say the trade for Frank Viola. The Mets obtaining Frank Viola for Rick Aguilera, David West, the left-handed pitcher and prospect, Kevin Tapani, and Tim Drummond, and also a player to be named later. Rick Aguilera, the Mets will be losing a right-hander in the bullpen. They lost Roger McDowell earlier in the year in the Samuel trade. Some people said that Frank Viola lost a few miles off his fastball in Minnesota. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Frank's got 12 or 13 more starts under his belt this year and should be a great pitcher for a lot of years for the Mets.
And the Mets say you always have to try to get a Cy Young Award winner, which Frank was last year. And he has won more games than any pitcher in the major leagues in his last 5 years of pitching, not counting this year. So the Mets with Frank Viola on the mound, and that should make it very interesting for us here today on a very hot day in St. Louis. We'll be back with the ball game into the bench. And on the mound, Ted Power, 34 years of age. And he has a record of 3 wins and 4 losses. He has no decisions against the Mets this year. His first appearance against the Mets. He comes in with an earned run average of 5.13. He's walked 10, struck out 16. Box, he was at Tidewater, just called up, played his first game after being sent out to Tidewater. Yesterday was 1 for 5, and he gets a fastball for ball 1. Miller at Tidewater this year hit .266 in 48 games with 1 home run, 18 stolen bases. Batting .176 for the Mets. And Ted Power back with a fastball, and he gets a call strike 1-1. Ted Power, originally drafted by the Dodgers in the 5th round of the 1976 draft. He was sold to the Cincinnati Reds in 1982, and he was the only 20-game winner in professional baseball that year, the year of 1981. And of course, there is a gimmick behind that. That was the strike year, and no one in the major leagues got a chance to play, but just a shade over a half a season. And Ted Power was a losing pitcher to Nolan Ryan's 5th no-hitter. And that ball fouled off the toe of Tony Pena, so he's trying to shake out the pain.
For years, they have talked about a hard toe for a catcher to use behind the home plate. We've talked about it before. Bruce Fleming, the home plate umpire, has hard toes, but umpires don't go into a squat like a catcher. And I think that's what Bruce is talking about. He's looking down at his shoes, probably glad he has them, but a catcher's got to be on his toes. You'll see the umpire can stand flat-footed behind the catcher. He doesn't go into that full squat like a catcher has to do for balls in the dirt.
Now the pitch back, hit in the air to right field. Brunansky, a fine outfielder, makes the catch. In fact, Brunansky led the National League outfielders in fielding percentage last year. He made only 1 error and 278 1. 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. And the fastball hit in the air to left center field. The call is being made by Milt Thompson, the center fielder. 2 men away. So 2 in the air and 2 men out. Ted Power has been used quite a bit in relief throughout his major league career. At one point, he had 229 consecutive relief appearances before he had a game start.
I just thought of that, Ralph, what you just said. It's almost redundant when you say 2 in the air in this ballpark and 2 outs, because almost anything with a hump in it, anything in the air is an out. Hit it to the fat part of the field, you can forget about it. You got to pull the ball to pull it out unless you're awfully strong.
So now 2 away, and Howard Johnson the batter. Howard hitting .296, 26 home runs, 67 RBIs. Howard second in home runs with his 26 to Kevin Mitchell, who has 33. He's third in runs batted in with 67. Mitchell leads with 90. And he is number 1 in runs scored with 74. Howard also second in slugging percentage and second in extra base hits, and he takes that pitch for ball 2. 2-0. In last night's ball game, Juan Samuel had a busy night. He had 8 putouts in center field to back up what you said, Tim.
Yeah. Only 2 hitters were not intimidated in this ballpark since it was completed back in 1966. Jack Clark for the Cardinals and Richie Allen. Dick Allen played here in 1970, hit 34 home runs and drove in 106 and missed the last 6 weeks of the season.
One of the great hitters. To give you an idea about the Cardinal hitters, they lead the league in hitting at 258, but they're last in the league in home runs with only 39.
It's almost an insignificant point for Whitey Herzog. He doesn't build his team around home run hitters.
And the fastball high, so the count 3-1. He builds this team on stolen bases. The Cardinals are 3rd in stolen bases this year with 105. In the last 7 years, they've had over 200 stolen bases in each of the last 7. The only team to do that more often, the Cubs in 1901 through 1908, had 200 stolen bases in 8 straight years, and that's ball 4 to Howard Johnson. So the Mets with a base runner with 2 men away here in the top of the 1st. Ojo seeing less and less strikes as he continues his great year, and Darryl Strawberry now the batter. Darryl Strawberry, the hitter, hitting at 221 for the year with 22 home runs, 52 runs batted in. Strawberry is 0 for 7 in this series, and there goes Johnson, and he has another stolen base. He had 2 in last night's ball game, and he is getting nearer and nearer to that 30-30 club.
Well, you know why this is a good play, even if Pena throws you out. Now, Pena had that foul tip off his right foot, and footwork is very, very important to a catcher in throwing. Now, I'm not saying that Tony would have thrown him out had his foot not been hurt, but his chances would have been better. Howard had a good jump from first base.
And the 1-0 pitch to Strawberry inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Another thing that Pena does with a runner at first base, he catches with his throwing hand behind his back. And that takes him time to get that hand up to the ball in the glove. Most catchers will, with runners in a position to steal a base, will get that right hand up there by the glove. But he catches with his right hand behind his back with a runner at first. And this ball blooped into right center field. It'll be a base hit. Howard Johnson comes around and he'll score, and Strawberry puts the Mets up 1-0. So the walk and the stolen base set it up.
If you set out to jam a hitter and you get behind him, then he's no longer jammable. And I'm really surprised that they threw a 2-0 fastball to Strawberry on the inside part of the plate. Watch where this fastball is. See, now that would have been a good 0-2 pitch, but it's not a good pitch with the count 2-0. Darryl sitting on that fastball and hits it to right field to put the Mets on top.
So the Mets leading 1-0 with Strawberry at first base, and Kevin McReynolds the batter. He gets a fastball that's called a strike. McReynolds 4 for 5 in last night. In last night's game, a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. He got his cycle with a 3-base hit his last at bat. And he had a career high of 6 runs batted in. Reynolds now hitting .283 with 10 home runs and 53 runs batted in. And that pitch fouled away, so it's strike 2.
I think it's very appropriate, Ralph, that Kevin hit for the cycle about, what, 2 weeks after Greg LeMond won the Tour de France on his cycle. It's a remarkable story, wasn't it? Greg LeMond after
an American.
The hunting accident, yeah, his second Tour de France. think, in the last 3 years. Didn't race last year, many injuries and everything. Did you ever hit for the cycle?
I did one time, and I did it at Ebbets Field, which is almost impossible to do. It's hard to get a triple.
Yeah.
Well, it was hard to get a triple at Ebbets Field. You can get a lot of triples there now. Playing stickball.
In the street.
In the street, that's right. The friendly confines are no longer there. 1-2 the count. The most any single player has hit for the cycle, 3. Babe Herman did it 3 times. And Irish Bob Musial did it 3 times. And the only man to do it in each league, Bob Watson. So it's a rather unusual feat.
Here's a good running count. You saw Johnson take off on the first pitch with the prospects of a ball being out of the strike zone, a ball and 2 strikes to McReynolds. You might get a breaking ball in the dirt or a high and tight fastball. Good time for Strawberry to think stolen base. Davy Johnson's got some new faces to deal with.
Gerald able to run now after that broken little toe, so he can still make that move for a steal at second. He doesn't go, and the ball is looped into right center field. Coming up is Bernansky. He can't get to it, plays it on the hop, and Strawberry goes to second base. So after getting the first 2 batters, Ted Power has given up a walk and 2 singles. That'll bring up Dave Magadan. Magadan hitting .289 for the year with 4 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Dave with those 3 runs batted in that Tim mentioned last night, tying a career high. He was 1 for 5, but 3 RBIs. And he takes a fastball for ball 1. Magadan has hit only 8 career home runs and none against the Cardinals, with a career batting average of .298. This is his 4th year in the major leagues. And the slider is on the inside corner, called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strawberry the runner at second base, McReynolds the runner at first, so good speed on the bases. Ted Power released by the Tigers earlier this spring and signed by the Cardinals as a free agent. Then he goes to the curveball and misses, and they count 2 balls and 1 strike. Power started the season at Louisville, where he had a record of 3 wins and 1 loss in 5 game starts, and then was called up by the Cardinals on May the 4th. He went on the DL on May 17th with a pulled muscle in his right side, and he did that in batting practice. And the fastball fouled on the left field side, out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The bullpen is full for the New York Mets. Usually you'll see a full bullpen when the manager is a kind of a raucous type manager, but Davy Johnson doesn't say anything. Two-2 pitch and a half swing on the slider, and it's fouled back out of play, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's Davy. They have put some air conditioning devices in each dugout, so it's not that hot in the dugouts anymore.
They haven't put them in the television booths, I'll tell you that.
We depend on the fans in the stands. And that one fouled away. So So Magadan with 2 half swings in the last 2 pitches, but he manages to foul the ball off, and he stays alive at 2-2. Another good crowd here with the fans here in St. Louis. Outstanding. St. Louis, the first team to draw 2 million this year. Did that in the first game of this series. Went over the 2 million mark. And this ball hit in the air to center field. And Thompson misjudges it and then has to go back to one-handed to get the catch that retires the side. And Frank Viola in the National League for his first game start. And he has pitched against the National League. This is the World Series when he faced the St. Louis Cardinals. He won the 1st and 7th game of the series to give the Twins the victory. He also lost the 4th game. Earned run average of 3.72. So he has pitched against the Cardinals, but in World Series play.
MVP in that series, as a matter of fact. Vince Coleman leads it off for the Cardinals. Ozzie Smith batting second. Jose Oquendo, what a worker and what a job he's done for the Cardinals. Pedro Guerrero has played in every game, the only Cardinal to do so. Tom Brunansky, the right fielder, hitting 5th, followed by Terry Pendleton. Milt Thompson's done a fine job in center. He'll bat 7th. Tony Pena behind the plate, and Ted Power batting 9th.
So Frank Viola making his first pitch in the National League, and it's a fastball and it's butted down the third base side foul. The batter is Vince Coleman. Coleman hitting .260 on the year with no home runs, 22 runs batted in. Coleman in this series 1 for 7, and he is always a threat to bunt. Coleman with 50 consecutive stolen bases to set a major league record that goes back into last year. This year he had 45 consecutive stolen bases before he was struck out. 452 stolen bases. This is only his 5th year in the major leagues. He has really been on a tear when he gets on those bases. And the fastball for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tim McCarver mentioned that Viola, it had been rumored that Viola was not throwing the ball like he used to, but in talking to some of the scouts, they said they got him on the gun, the radar gun, this year in the 90s. So that would not mean that he's lost anything. And he goes to the curve and he strikes out Coleman. That's his first batter in the National League.
That must have been, I'll tell you one thing, if they got Frank Viola in the 90s, that must have been that slow gun, because I don't think Frank Viola can throw over 90 miles an hour. I don't care what the scouts say, because that radar gun, they have 2 different types of guns, and one's about 5 miles an hour faster than the other. That was a high fastball right there. But his best pitch is his changeup, so it's not as important for him to maintain the fastball as it is for most pitchers.
And now the batter is Ozzie Smith. Ozzie 2 for 8 in this series, hitting. And that ball popped up in the air. Ozzie hitting at .292 so far this year, and the catch is made by Howard Johnson. So 2 men up, 2 men away. The defense for the Mets: Magadan at first, Miller at second, Elster at short, and Johnson at third. McReynolds, Samwell, and Strawberry in the outfield left to right, and the catcher is Lyons. So 2 men out, and Jose Oquendo the batter. Oquendo hitting .295 on the year with no home runs, 32 runs batted in. And the slow curveball is in there for a called strike. And the slider back and the ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the fastball just as missed. 2-1. Oquendo with the longest hitting streak in the major leagues this year, 23 consecutive games. That was the longest for a Cardinal since Lou Brock hit in 26 consecutive games back in 1971. And this ball grounded down the left side as Oquendo loses the bat, totally fooled by the pitch.
That's what that changeup can make you do. Ed Lynch, who is a former Mets pitcher, used to call that walking the dog. And he was out in front of that ball and let go of the leash on that particular swing. Watch this right here. Fooled on the pitch. See, if it held onto that ball, it kind of reminds you of walking the dog. I think that's a funny expression.
And it now goes to 3-2. Viola started his season this year with the Twins and was 0-5 in his first decisions, as Davey Johnson and Mel Stoudemire are talking over. And with the Twins, he was 8-12, and again he's fooled by the changeup, and he hits it foul. The ball, a foul ball, so Kidno back to the plate. Viola with a lifetime record of 112 wins and 93 losses.
See, rear end out, and those arms forward, and Oquendo full once again. Well, Viola has a straight change. It's not a split finger. It's not a circle change. It's just a straight change that he holds back in his hand, and the hitters have a tendency to swing at that arm motion.
He has won more games than any pitcher in baseball over his last 5 years. Total of 93, not counting this year. Ground ball to third. Johnson scoops it up, and the Cardinals go in order. Good play by Howard Johnson. The score at the end of one. The Mets won. The St. Louis Cardinals nothing. Lions hitting .246, 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. And the first pitch, ball 1. Lions, the starting catcher in yesterday's ball game, and was 2 for 5. Time is called. A balloon floating onto the field out there in shallow left. The Mets have not been a good road club this year. They have a record of 20-28. And they started their action 7 games back of Montreal in 4th place, a game back of the Cardinals. And Lyons hits it hard in the hole. A great play by Ozzie, but he loses possession of the ball and throws it, and it goes out into right field, and that's about as far away from first base as you can throw it.
He was trying to hit the cutoff man, Jose Oquendo, throwing it to Bernansky. Well, sometimes, I mean, it's just a remarkable play, but when Ozzie picked it up, what happened is he grabbed it with the palm of his hands, or his hand, and that's why that ball slipped out of his hand. Used the fingers to throw the ball, of course, and that's how a lot of pitchers throw palm balls. Of course, they're not that wild with them.
No, see, he gets no air on the play as he made the great stop, and
Right.
Lyons gets the base hit, and it brings up Kevin Elster. Elster now hitting .229, and he goes after the slider and pops it up. Milt Thompson making the call in center field and the catch, and Lyons back to first. So a runner at first and 1 away, and Frank Viola will be the batter. Frank has not batted since he was in high school, at least in an official American League game.
One of the meanings of the word viola, obviously it's a large violin, but another meaning, it's one in a group of plants. And watch Frank try to plant a bunt down the third baseline.
And he bunts it perfectly. The ball is thrown to second, and on the play, Viola beats the throw to first and stays out of the double play. So even though the bunt was a good bunt, the charging third baseman Pendleton turned it into a forced play at second.
Yeah, well, they know Frank's been in the American League and has no experience as a hitter. Look, Frank looks like he's happy he made contact. Look at that smile. He's all happy right here. Not only has he not hit, he hasn't bunted since he was a senior in high school. Frank just beating the play, but a good play by Terry Pendleton. Very aggressive Cardinal infield.
So Viola on at first, and the first pitch is hit hard to left field by Keith Miller, who gets his second hit since joining the Mets yesterday. And that moves Viola down to second.
Did you know that the pansy was in the Viola family? Violets and pansies are in the same family.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Do a quick check of Viola before the game in the dictionary. Constantly trying to.
I think he'd rather be called sweet music than pansy.
I was hoping you'd say that because I know Frank feels that way. Sweet music's different from pansy.
Quite a bit different. And the first pitch to Juan Samuel, a breaking ball in for a called strike. Samuel hitting .251, 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, 1 home run for the Mets, and 3 for 5 last night. And the fastball fouled away. Mets leading 1-0 with 2 men out. We're in the top of the second inning on a hot, humid night here in St. Louis. Temperature today got up to about 95. And the fastball under the chin. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is the same ballpark when they played the All-Star game here on a very hot day that they were taking people out of the park literally on stretchers. And Casey Stengel, who was attending the game that day, when asked about the park, said it holds the heat very well. And the fastball hit down the right field line. It's out of play. Miller all the way to third base, and the ball was fouled by about 40 feet. Viola doing it the easy way. Miller almost passed him on the bases. So Viola doing something he hasn't done in the major leagues, out on the base paths. Short lead by Viola as he checks out Ozzie Smith. And the pitch is taken high. 2-2 to Samuel. In the overall series between the Mets and Cardinals this year, the Cardinals have won 4 of the 7 games played. Ted Power, 34 years of age. Career record of 53 wins, 53 losses. And the slider is hit down to third base on through the hole in the left field for a base hit. Viola crossing over to third, and that is all, as he should have been running all the way. So the inexperience of being on the bases took any chance away of Viola coming in to score.
He was worried about the bat. The bat was in his way, and it scared him. Watch right there. You see, he's saying, hey, man, here I am on. No wonder I haven't run the bases before. It's dangerous out here. Look at this. Whoa. Look at that. He's got a ball going one way and the bat going one way and saying, look, this is my first time I've ever been on base, and I got all these things coming at me. Look at Sammy Perlazzo, the third base coach. He's saying, come on, come on. But see, Sammy's not out there. He's saying, hey, Frank, we didn't give 5 guys away for you to have to go through all that. I mean, bats are going at you and balls. What's going on? Dangerous.
Should get extra pay with all that going on.
Right.
So he's now at third base. The base is loaded on the base hit by Samuel, and it brings up Howard Johnson, who walked his first time up. And Howard swings and misses. Mets with 5 hits, and they're batting here in the second inning with 2 men away. 2 in the first and 3 here in the second. And action has started up in the bullpen for St. Louis. Mets leading 1-0. And the dangerous Howard Johnson at the plate. Howard 3 for 4 in last night's ball game. And the fastball high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
John Costello, the right-hander, is now warming for the Cardinals, and it could be if Johnson gets a hit here. Whitey Herzog may take Ted Power out, and I think that's why Mike Rourke is going out to talk to Ted Power. Mike, the pitching coach of the Cardinals. There's John Costello.
Meadow High School and St. John's University in Jamaica. Now born in Hempstead, New York, lives in Lakewood, Florida. A runner at third base. And the breaking ball, a good one. 1-2.
Ted Power has a palm ball, but this appeared to be a curve ball. It backs up on the outside part.
So it's 1-2 to Howard Johnson. And he is struck out on the fastball. Big strikeout for Ted Power to end the inning. Coming in for the play-by-play, who had 1,501 major league hits, Tim McCarver.
And Pedro Guerrero leads it off for the Cardinals as Frank Viola, after dodging that obstacle course on the bases in the second inning. He may have scored on that ball, but it's doubtful, even with a good jump and even trying to dodge the bat, because Coleman has such a good throwing arm and Viola an inexperienced base runner. High, ball 1. Guerrero, the only Cardinal to play in 103 ball games. Batting .297, 65 RBIs on the year. That's third in the National League behind Howard Johnson and Kevin Mitchell.
That's rather an unusual stat for Guerrero, because he seldom played a full season when he was with the Dodgers, but he has been a hard-working horse here for the St. Louis Cardinals. Guerrero's been on base with either hit or a walk in 18 straight games.
Changeup is outside on the corner, so it's a ball and 2 strikes to Pedro Guerrero. Frank Viola in his Major League, National League debut. Cy Young Award winner last year. The Mets have now 2 pitchers on their team who've won the Cy Young Award. Fastball is inside, 2-2. Dwight Gooden did it back in 1985, and Frank Viola last year.
And Viola normally wears number 16. That's his number with the Minnesota Twins, but he couldn't get it here with the Mets. And he had to take the number 26. And if you follow the Mets closely, Doc Gooden wears number 16 for the New York Mets.
Changeup is inside, 3-2. 1-0 Mets here in the bottom of the second. The Mets have stranded 5 in 2 innings. High, ball 4. Well, very unusual for Tom Bernansky to be facing Frank Viola, an old teammate. Here's what he told Steve Zabriskie before the ball game.
Well, seeing as how I played with Frankie for so many years and we've kind of grown up together, I think that his best pitch that he has, of course, is his changeup. That's what he's developed into him to be a Cy Young Award winner. And I think in a tough situation, he's going to go to that pitch. He's got a good fastball. He'll throw an overhand curve occasionally to right-handers, but more or less his out pitch is a changeup, so that's the pitch I want to hit.
And that's the pitch he got. Swing and a miss. 0-1 to Tom Bernansky.
He also said to Viola that he was going to be able to hit him with no trouble at all because he had Tom Lawless's bat.
Tom Lawless with a home run in Game 4 of the '87 series here. Only his second Major League home run. This one hit hard. Great play, Johnson, for the double play. No, sir. It's low and scoots by Magadan. What a brilliant play by Howard Johnson to almost turn it into a double play, and had Miller's throw been on line, it would have been 2.
Well,
Wow.
believe it or not, Howard Johnson made a similar play in last night's ball game against Vince Coleman. Almost identical play. How he made the one last night, no one ever knew, and how he made this one tonight, same thing. Watch this backhand pickup of the line shot by Bernansky. They try for 2, but the throw, a bad throw to first, and it would not have been in time.
1 out. Terry Pendleton now the batter. Terry, one of 4 switch hitters in the Cardinal lineup. 1-0 Mets. Great play by Howard Johnson. Terry batting .254, 6 home runs on the year. Looked like he wanted to bunt, but he may have just been drawing Johnson in at third. It's strike 1 to Pendleton. Bernansky said he was going up looking for the changeup. He got it. He ripped it. Johnson made that play on it. Popped up in the infield. Second base, Keith Miller. 2 outs. Steve Lake also involved in that trade. He has done a great job. Willie McGee still on the DL. A little looper to left, but Kevin McReynolds there, and he makes the play. The Cardinals still hitless through middle down there, giving close to $1 million, I believe, to St. Jude's this year. That tournament started by Danny Thomas years and years ago. Darryl Strawberry leads it off here in the top of the 3rd.
And your good friend, one of the guys that puts it on.
Yeah, right, Joe Trebo. We won't talk about the way I played if it's all right. It's 1-1, but I was really thrilled. Played with Lanny Watkins and really thrilled just to be a part of the fine tournament. Michael Jordan was down there and quite a few other athletes, off-season athletes.
With Lanny's temper, you must have played all right because you're here.
It was quick. We got it over with in a hurry. Swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes to Darryl Strawberry. Darryl, a single and an RBI. He drove in the only run of the game in the 1st inning.
Todd Harmon, who died just recently, one of the great analysts of golf, said that Lanny Watkins was the best striker of the golf ball playing today.
Wow. 2-2 to Strawberry. Those pros make it look so easy. It hasn't been easy for the Mets lately, though. They've lost 7 of their last 8 after winning 6 in a row and trail Montreal by 7. Ground ball up the middle. Ozzie Smith. 1 out.
Well, on the Nissan National League scoreboard, a lot of action tonight. Montreal still rolling. They're leading Pittsburgh 3-0. Bottom of the 7th inning. Philadelphia leading Chicago 6-0. Top of the 7th. Cincinnati 3. Houston 0. Top of the 6th. San Diego and Atlanta tied up at 3. Bottom half of the 6th. San Francisco leading with L.A. later.
McReynolds drills 1 to left, but Vince Coleman is there, stumbles, falls down, and makes the play. 2 outs.
Well, this had to be a knuckleball going out there the way he handled it. And the ball knuckling, and he reaches back and makes the catch. And Coleman, a football player when he was in school and high school, looks like he's being blocked by the invisible man right here.
Like Vince may have stepped on his spike. Sometimes that happens on the artificial turf. The result was good for the Cardinals, however. Dave Magadan takes ball 1. One run, 5 hits for the Mets. Cardinals, no runs, no hits. Neither side has committed an error. Low, ball 2, 2-0. Ted Power, 34 years old. Strike 1. 2 balls and a strike to Dave Magadan. Ted spent the majority of his major league career with Cincinnati, 5 years from 82 to 87. Magadan takes ball 3, 3-1. Outfield straight away, and the Cardinal outfield plate hitters very shallow. A little deeper now with 2 outs and nobody on to prevent the double. Lined sharply. Oquendo off his chest. He's only made 1 error in his last 6 debut. And I would think, Ralph, just thinking about the deal, the Mets bullpen has really got to be hurting for right-handed relievers now, with Roger McDowell and Rick Aguilera both out of there.
Well,
ball 1 to Tony Pena.
the burden will fall on Don Ossie now as they go to the right-hander in the bullpen, and also Jeff Ennis. So they have 2 right-handers out there. If and when Dwight Gooden comes back, one of the starters will go out to the bullpen. I would speculate it to be Bob Ojeda.
2-0 to Tony Pena. 2 balls and a strike. Well, are the Mets trying to make a deal now? If Gooden comes back, would they trade for a right-handed reliever?
That could be a possibility.
Yeah. 3 balls and a strike to Pena. Or would they, if they don't have a chance for it, say they get the 1st of September and they're 12 or 13 games back, do you not bring Gooden back and then wait until the winter to see how Gooden's going to perform? I think those are the options and alternatives facing Joe McIlvaine and Frank Cashin right now, or some of them.
If the Mets get into the pennant race, and they're still in it, obviously, only 7 games out with a lot of games to play, it will determine whether or not they will go into any more trading. But I would say they would not if they're out of it, because then they only have next year to look forward to, and it would be something to look forward to with Viola and Dwight Gooden.
Counts full to Tony Pena. The Mets have a 1-0 lead. Frank Viola on the mound. Change is low, and Pena, who rarely walks, draws a base on balls, and Ted Power the batter. Viola has an excellent move to first base, so Pena will be alive, as will Dave Magadan. Some pitchers with a good move pick off not only the runner but the first baseman. Power 2 for 15 on the year. Fouls it off. 0-1 to Ted Power. Rich Hacker, the third base coach. Jim Riggleman over at first base for the Cardinals. This one squibbed off the end of the bat with Howard Johnson charging. No balls, 2 strikes to Ted Power. Tony Pena at first base. Nobody out here in the third. 1-0 New York.
And Tony with good speed. He has 59 stolen bases, more than any active catcher in baseball.
The bunt's a good one. Viola wanted to go to second, but Ted Power does his job. One out, and the batter Vince Coleman.
Well, for those of you new to baseball, if you bunt the ball foul with 2 strikes, and the count is 2 strikes, the batter is automatically out. But here Power puts it in play, and normally when you're bunting with 2 strikes, you have to bunt it out there away from the foul lines. But he deadened that ball enough on the artificial turf to sacrifice Tony Pena down to second. Good job.
So the power play works for the Cardinals, and Vince Coleman, the batter, he struck out in the first. Curve is in there for a strike, 0-1. Lined right inside the line. Pena scores. Coleman's going to have a triple. It's a 1-1 game. Coleman at third and 1 out.
Well, there's nothing you can do about this. A good pitch, low and away. Coleman reaches out, slices it right over the bag at first base. And with his speed, it'll go for a 3-base hit as he drives in the tying run. For Coleman, that is his 6th triple of the year.
The Mets are going to appeal at second base. Viola stepping off now. And second base umpire Dana DeMuth says no. I got to bring the right side of the infield in, don't you think, Ralph, with Ozzie Smith hitting?
Ozzie does not have much power.
Yeah, but Miller doesn't see the sign. Now Keith is running in, and the curve is low to Smith.
And keep in mind, Smith is an outstanding bunter, and Whitey Herzog loves the squeeze play.
And Coleman was running. The squeeze was on. Ralph Kiner had it, but Ozzie Smith didn't.
Ozzie
How about
missed.
that?
Ozzie totally missed the sign, and Coleman was halfway down the line. He might have been killed if he'd hit that ball at him. Watch this. Here comes Coleman up the line. Smith misses the sign, and Coleman is hung out to dry, but Smith fouls the ball off, so nothing happens.
If you don't think that doesn't put the fear of the Almighty in you when you're running down the line and the right-handed hitter swings away. Change is low, 2-1. So Ralph had it from about 250 feet, and Ozzie missed it from 90. We'll see if it's on again. Nope. Ground ball up the middle. Miller throws out Smith. So that blown squeeze play, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Ozzie could have missed it. But for the time being, Coleman's still at third, 2 outs now, and the infield will drop back to normal depth.
Well, so far, Viola has pitched from the stretch position. The first time that Vince Coleman ever stole home was against Sid Fernandez in the Mets last year. So the Mets are going to guard against that with Viola pitching from the set position.
Jose Oquendo, and the fastball is low. Oquendo grounded to third in the first. Curve is a high strike, 1-1 to Oquendo. Oquendo with 9 career home runs during the regular season. All have been hit as a right-handed hitter. He did have 1 against Atlee Hammaker against the Giants in Game 7 of the '87 playoffs. Lollipop curve is high, 2 balls and a strike.
And Oquendo, the best hitter in the major leagues in the month of July. He hit .412. He had 40 hits. That tied him with Robin Yount for the most hits in the month of July. But he led all hitters in the month of July in hitting.
Low, ball 3, 3-1. Pedro Guerrero on deck. 1-1 game. The RBI triple by Coleman, his 23rd RBI of the year and his 6th triple. Strike 2, so the count's full on Oquendo. Remember the change-ups the first time up, and I'm sure that's what Oquendo was looking for when he took the fastball right down the middle. Fastball fouled away. Still 3-2. Change, and it's grounded just foul. So Oquendo obviously looking for it. Still 3-2. Still 3. Fastball outside, so Viola loses Oquendo. His third walk of the game. He has struck out one. But more importantly, Pedro Guerrero, the RBI weapon of the Cardinals, is now the batter with runners at first and third and 2 outs.
All 3 of his walks have been on 3-2 pitches. Walked Guerrero his first time up on a 3-2 pitch.
Change line to right, base hit. Coleman scores. 2-1 St. Louis.
Well, this is the 59th run driven in by Pedro Guerrero with a runner in scoring position. Before that hit, he was hitting .388 with runners in scoring position. So he has really done the job for the St. Louis Cardinals. He is their offense.
Well, as far as RB, modus operandi of the way they score runs, obviously you got to have your big clunkers. I mean, they signed Guerrero because they couldn't sign Jack Clark, and Clark was devastating on this ball club. 1-0 to Bernansky. Change fouled off. It's 1-1 to Tom. Traded last April 22nd for Tommy Herr. Tommy Herr's now with the Phillies. And Shane Raleigh was traded for Tommy Herr. What was Kevin doing there? It looked like he was laughing about something.
Had a balloon out there, I guess.
Oh.
He's perfect in catching balloons this year.
It's 2 for 2 tonight. Misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Fly ball center field and playable. Juan Samuel, an easy play. And he makes the play. But the Cardinals scored twice on only 2 hits. And they strand a runner after 3. It's 2.
Yeah, I'm over the hill, Ralphie, actually. Thank you. There's Frank in the dugout. And he will bat third in this inning. So he's going to the batting gloves. 2-1 St. Louis. Cardinals have managed but 2 hits. But they got them at opportune times. Of the 3 runs in this game, 2 of the runs scored by those who walked. So Frankie Frisch continues to be right, Ralphie.
Oh, those bases on balls. Frankie Frisch, of course, played second base for the 1934 championship World's champion St. Louis Cardinals.
Barry Lyons fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. Barry had an infield base hit his first time up, as Ozzie Smith made one of his patented great stops. But the throw
somewhat
went
offline. The throw ended up in right field.
Ozzie sort of lost the handle. Curveball fouled off. So it's 0-2. Gary Carter, as always, cheering on his mates. Not seeing much action as Gary's knee is still bothering him. Another breaking ball lined to right for a base hit. So Lyons 2 for 2 as he starts the fourth with a single. And that'll bring up Kevin Elster. Elster flied out to short center field, and Milt Thompson in the second inning.
Elster had his 12-game hitting streak. That was his longest in his short career in the major leagues. Stopped in the first game of this series when he was 0 for 2. He was taken out for a pinch hitter for Mookie Wilson.
And he pops it up, and it's playable near second base. Ozzie Smith in the dirt, and one away as Lyons holds at first. And we remind you that this game is being brought to you in part this evening by The Wiz. Remember, for anything in home entertainment, nobody beats The Wiz. And by Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met. It pays.
And Frank Viola again in a bunting situation here. His first time up, he tried to sacrifice, and Lyons, who was the base runner at first, was forced at second. Got the similar situation here, only with one man out.
And he pulls it back and takes high, and a throw down by Pena, who will throw anywhere, anytime when Lyons is back. Ball one. Frankie swung a pretty good bat in spring training throughout his career, a .400 career spring training hitter, but there are a lot of .400 career spring training hitters, right, Ralph?
That is true.
High again, ball two. And a lot of those career .400 spring training hitters were everyday players who are now selling insurance. Sam Perlazo with the sign. And Pena out to talk to Power.
Now Pena is probably saying, just get the ball over. Don't try to do anything more than let him bunt. They want him to bunt the ball so they can hopefully get the force play.
Pendleton creeping in again. And he takes outside, ball three.
And he will be given the take sign right here.
Sam Perlazo checks with Davey Johnson before relaying.
There have been some pitchers that were so bad as hitters that they were given the take sign on 3-2 counts.
Taking all the way, it's high. So Viola at first as Lyons goes to second with one out.
And here's the American League National League Nissan scoreboard. Cleveland defeated Milwaukee 1-0. Yankees beat Minnesota 7-6. In the second game, Minnesota leads 3-0 bottom half of the fourth. And Boston leading Baltimore 6-0 in that game in the bottom of the fifth. Boston one game back of Baltimore. They swept a doubleheader yesterday. Toronto leading Kansas City 6-0 top of the seventh. Detroit 4, Texas 2 top of the seventh. White Sox playing in Oakland, and Oakland leading now over California, and California playing in Seattle. Oakland leading by a half.
A swing and a miss for strike one. Keith 1 for 2. He flied out to right field in the first inning and singled to left in the second. Lyons at second, Viola at first, one out. Cardinals leading 2-1. We're in the top of the fourth inning. Miller holds up, and the breaking ball low and away, and it's 1 ball 1 strike. Keith Miller has been the shuttle man for the Mets the last couple of years between Tidewater and New York.
He could go around the world on his frequent flyer points.
Yeah, I hope he's a member. Miller to bunt. Fouled it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. John Costello now joined by Frank DePino, the left-hander.
Well, that bunt attempt by Keith Miller was not a sacrifice bunt. He was going for the base hit, trying to push that ball out toward the second baseman, O'Kendall.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's high. 2-2. Fastball is high, even though Pena tried to bring it down, so it's 3-2. With 1 out, runners at first and second, and Miller steps out to look at Sam Perlazzo's signs. Would you put them in motion here, Ralph?
Not with Lyons a runner at second. I don't know. It's a good play. I don't know whether he got the confidence in Keith Miller to do it.
And Miller skies one into short right center field. Trouble for O'Kendall, but he makes a good play. So 2 out. And I guess the other factor might be that Miller has such fine speed that he might prevent the double play anyway at first base, and they had the runners in motion.
Well, you got 2 of the best infielders going back on short pop-ups into the outfield.
Here's Juan Samuel, who is 1 for 2. It's high and tight, ball 1.
O'Kendall, one of 7 teenagers to play for the New York Mets. He was 19 when he joined the Mets. The first Eddie Kranepool.
And Chaito, as they call him, has filled out nicely. He weighs about 15 pounds more than he did when he joined the Mets. Popped up, foul, and out of play. As Pena gives it a look, it's well back into the seats. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets have left 5 on already in this game. They left 2 on in the first. The bases loaded in the second. They went out in order in the third. And way outside, stopped by Pena. 2 balls, 1 strike. Pena wanted the pitch outside. He was setting up there, but I don't think he anticipated it being that far outside.
You wondered why he shifted out there. It was a curveball call, and you don't want the curveball to be that far outside. You're trying to get it in the strike zone.
And again, Pena and Power taking a long time with the signs. And again, Pena shifting to the outside part of the plate, and Samuel misses it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that curveball in a perfect spot. That was an excellent pitch. This is what he was looking for. Sharp breaking curveball.
Now the fastball inside, and Samuel went too far, says Bruce Fremming, and the inning is over, and the Mets leave 2 more aboard. 2-1 St. Louis. Terry Pendleton to lead it off against Frank Viola, and the big roundhouse breaking ball just outside, ball 1. Pendleton popped out to Keith Miller, the second baseman, in the second inning. And he hits this one in the air to Strawberry, who drifts back near the track, short of the track, 1 away. Pendleton's been hot, but he's 0 for 2. And here's Milt Thompson, who's also done a good job. Thompson's done a good job both as a pinch hitter and as a starter. As a starter, he's hitting .308. And the breaking ball this time is in there for strike 1. Milt flied to left to end the second inning. Another big curveball. Missed. 0-2.
Thompson has had 16 infield hits so far this year.
It's no wonder the Cardinals traded for him. He is the typical Cardinal ball player. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Vince Coleman leads the club in infield hits. He has 29. 10 of them have been bunts. They got the Rabbits.
Bounced up there, 2-2. About the only thing that makes Thompson less than the quintessential Cardinal is he does not switch hit. Cardinals have always had a preponderance of switch hitters. Big curveball fouled off. So Frankie, who uses that curveball a lot more to the left-handed hitters, has given Thompson a pretty steady diet here.
Of course, the old Dodgers used to have a entire infield that switch hit.
Right. Hit on the ground to second. Keith Miller to Dave Magadan, 2 down. Cardinals scored their 2 runs in the third on a couple of base hits, keyed by Vince Coleman's RBI triple as Coleman scored the second. And there's the Rat peeking out of his hole. Whitey done a fine job wherever he has managed, and in particular with the Cardinals in the 80s. Pena walked and scored in the third. Another big curveball.
Yeah, Whitey's 10th year now with the St. Louis Cardinals. He has won 757 games at second to Red Chandies, who is his right-hand man here. Red won 1,028 games, and of course Red Chandies went into the Hall of Fame. Ceremony's taking place a couple of weeks ago.
Inside, 1-1. Whitey, whose given name is Dorell. Curveball grounded to third. Johnson right there. And the inning is over as Viola retires the Cardinals in order in the bottom of the 4th inning. But St. Louis still stands in, and it'll be Strawberry and McReynolds against Ted Power. Ball 1.
Powers had 2 strikeouts in the game, and they both come at the right time to end the second and end the 4th. One time the bases were loaded, the other time runners at first and second.
And it was Howard Johnson whom he struck out with the bases loaded in the second inning. Check swing on a fastball by Power, but Oquendo there in time to Guerrero for out number 1. Another good play by Jose.
Oquendo at second base has made only 5 errors all season long, and he is there for this one. Started his career as a shortstop. Of course, can't play short in this club unless Ozzie Smith is hurt.
Boy, when he has filled in, however, for Oswald, he has been spectacular. Darryl Strawberry 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the first, and he takes outside ball 1. Darryl with a base hit to right field to score Howard Johnson with 2 out in the first inning. Then he grounded to short in the third. Down low, ball 2. Darryl with 53 runs batted in now. to right, but there's Jose playing him deep and toward the line, and it's an easy play for out number 2. Power has retired the last. Came in, you could not see the ground until you got down about, I'd guess, about 800 feet, maybe 600 feet.
But you're flying into L.A., huh?
Yeah, I mean, it made L.A. look clear. I mean, the haze and the smog here, because of the temperature inversion, it looked like it was overcast, but it wasn't. I mean, it was socked in. 2 strikes to Kevin McReynolds. And there just hasn't been much of a breeze. There's more of a breeze right now than there's been all day. Foul back, foul territory, drifting back and out of play, even though Pena chases it to the screen.
There's all that big breeze.
Yeah,
right there.
it's a gale. It's blowing a gale out there.
Hurricane has just moved in.
There's a little wafting breeze occasionally, and that's about it. But boy, earlier today it was just dead calm and heavy. Feels like it's still close to 90 degrees. We're probably closer to 80. So still 0-2 to McReynolds with 2 out and nobody on. Kevin singled to right and lined hard to left. Breaking ball high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena reminding Power to keep that front shoulder from flying open. Same as if you're hitting. Throwing or hitting, you got to concentrate on that front shoulder. Hit off the end of the bat to center field, but a long way, and Thompson gets back to end the inning. 5 in a row now.
Will lead it off. And the first pitch to Power, hit in the air to shallow right center field. Strawberry is there, but Samwell makes the call. And then the catch. So Ted Power, 1 pitch is out, 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. You know, there's only one thing better than a Mets win, and that's celebrating that win with a nice goal, Budweiser. The Cardinals in the 3rd for their 2 runs, and he attempts to bunt his way on and misses, strike 1. Coleman his 6th triple of the season. Lifetime .262 batter. This is his 5th year in the major leagues. And he has stolen 400 bases faster than anybody in the history of the game. And the slow curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Vince has been a hot batter the last week. He's hitting .409 over his last 7 games, not counting his triple tonight.
And the fastball grounded to shortstop. Elster will have to hurry. And the throw beats Coleman for the out. And he takes the slow curve, a called strike.
Luckily, no one was injured on the play.
All your eyes get big when you're running down that line toward home and the batter swings away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ozzie Smith. Ozzie, a .255 lifetime hitter. He's in his 12th year in the major leagues. And another ball call. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the changeup, and it swung on a miss, 2-2.
That's the money pitch for Frankie, and he really, in developing that changeup, became the pitcher that he was in winning the Cy Young Award last year. That was probably the #1 key.
And the curveball back is topped out in front of the plate. And the tag is made on Ozzie Smith as the ball is in fair territory, and that will retire the side. So 7. And the Pirates haven't won since they swept the Mets at Shea Stadium in a 3-game series. So the Mets will have to win here tonight to remain 7 games back. The Cubs lost their game, so they're now 3 games out in second. And the Cardinals trailing by 6. will have to win to remain at 6 games back in 3rd place. Magadan takes for a ball in the count, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'll tell you, the Expos are just doing it all, and I guess it points out, Ralph, how important pitching is, because the pitching, especially Smith, Martinez, of course Burke in the bullpen,
and Langston.
And now, yeah, and with the addition of Lang, big 3 this weekend.
And Magadan pops it up. Ball out in left center field. Thompson over to make the play, and Magadan is out for the 3rd time. And Ted Power with the high slider for a ball. Ted Power back to lines, and it's chopped out to the shortstop, Ozzie Smith. So 2 men away. Quickly 2 men away. Turned on again as the Cardinals picked him up from the Detroit Tigers after he has been released. Cardinals paid the bill and the power came on.
Yeah, the Cardinals turned on the power. Well, one of the things that, as with the Mets, was supposed to be the strength of the Cardinals was the pitching staff.
And the fastball blooped in the left center field. It'll be a base hit. Ball bouncing high in the air. Elster's trying for second, and the throw is in time. No, pardon me, called him safe. Elster might have hurt himself.
It was a very awkward slide, Ralph. He may have hit his face on the bag, but his back arched badly. I mean, he stopped dead. I don't know whether he hit the bag or not, but his feet nearly came up over his numbers. Now, when Vince Coleman and Milt Thompson can't get there, you know it's a tweener. But Thompson firing the ball in. Elster, to his credit, never hesitated. Now look at him go into the dirt, and his feet came clear up over his head. Oquendo did not get the tag down in time, and Kevin swallowed a little real estate right here. But that's how you can really get some back spasms going in your lower back. He appears to be all right, as he's going to remain in the game, but obviously shaken up.
So the Mets now with a tying run at second base, with the pitcher Frank Viola coming up. Viola in his major league career has never driven in a run, obviously because he played in the American League and didn't bat. Good hustle by Elster. And for the Mets, a chance to tie it up here in the top of the 6th inning. Fastball for ball 1. Viola never saw a strike his last time up. He was in a sacrifice situation and walked on 4 pitches, so he now has had 5 balls in a row. And it's chopped out to left field, and the ball is caught out there by Coleman as he comes in and takes it off his shoe tops, and that will retire the side. So Frank Viola robbed of a chance to tie his own game as Coleman got it right off the top of his shoes. That ends the inning. A hit and 1 left, and the score at the end of. And now the Cardinals batting in the bottom half of the 6th. The first pitch to Ozzie Smith hit in the air to left field, and should say to Jose Oquendo, and he is out. Oquendo had walked his first time up. So the Cardinals with 2 hits, but leading by a score of 2-1. There were 2 hits coming in the 3rd inning when they got their 2 runs. And now with 1 away, Pedro Guerrero will be the batter. He drove in the go-ahead run with a single to right field in the 3rd. And Viola with a strike. It's strike 1. Fastball for a ball, 1-1. Well, Ken Daly now throwing in the bullpen for St. Louis. Ted Power has lived a charmed life in this game. And the slow curveball for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Mets have left 8 men on base. And some fine fielding by the St. Louis Cardinals to keep him ahead at 2-1. Fastball for ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. Guerrero hitting .299 for the year. Lifetime .307 batter. And it's ball 4, so Guerrero picks up the walk, a runner on with 1 away, and it brings up Tom Brunansky.
Viola now has walked 4. Pedro Guerrero twice. But only 2 hits allowed. However, 2 earned runs. Let's see him trailing by 1.
Brunansky is 0 for 2, and he gets a slow curveball for ball 1. Brunansky, a teammate of Viola's with the Minnesota Twins until Brunansky was traded to the Cardinals last year.
And there were some Cardinal teammates coming and asking Bruno about Viola.
And the fastball hit out to right field. Darryl Strawberry back to make the play, and Guerrero back to first. And this one chopped out to the shortstop, Elster. Tough play for Elster. He can't handle it. And that'll be a base hit. Guerrero down to second on the infield hit. And now runners at first and second.
Even if he'd gotten it, it would have been a very tough play.
Thompson 0 for 2 in the game. And the slow curveball just inside for ball 1. And the fastball hit in the air to shallow center. Miller goes back, and he has the play. And that will end the inning. So a walk, a base hit, and 2 men left on base.
2-1 ball game. Cardinals on top here in the 7th inning. Keith Miller leads it off, and he fouls one off. 0-1. I'll tell you one thing. These 2 clubs since 1984, there have been some memories.
A little headbutting going on.
High, ball 1. 1-1 to Keith Miller, who is 1 for 3 on the night. 7 hits for the Mets, only 3 for the Cardinals, but it's the Cardinals up 2-1.
Interesting how when the Mets became a better ball club, the rivalries began to multiply and intensify.
Curve for a strike, a ball and 2 strikes to Miller. That usually happens. You never see a rivalry between 2 bad ball clubs.
Well, sometimes, though, there's a geographical rivalry.
Yeah.
It's there. It's just that no one cares.
You know, one of those.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, people always give you one of those. Is the Yebbets. They're the Yebbet syndrome. Yebbet. They really care about what you're saying.
The rivalry is there, Timmy. It's just that no one cares.
Yes, right. Still 1-2, and the curve fouled back. So Miller hanging tough. We will be with you at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, New York time. Oh, it's a 12:30 game, so it's 1:30 New York time tomorrow afternoon. Businessman special here in St. Louis. Lifted to right field. Brunansky with a good jump, and Bruno makes the play in fair territory. 1 out.
One thing that's often overlooked is that number 23 can play that right field. And there have been some discussions among the Cardinal players last year when Bruno came over. Many of them didn't realize he was as good a defensive player as he is. And he is a darn good outfielder.
He's made 4 errors this year, only 1 last year. He has 6 assists to lead all Cardinal outfielders. Vince Coleman has led all Cardinal outfielders the past 3 years. It's a ball and no strike to Juan Samuel, who's 1 for 3. High, ball 2, 2-0. Montreal in this weekend. Bryn Smith against Bobby Ojeda on Friday night. Langston and Darling on Saturday. Kevin Gross, Sid Fernandez on Sunday. You folks, you want a treat, come out and see Mark Langston pitch. He can pitch. Great stuff. Popped up right side. Guerrero back. It's Oquendo's ball. And Guerrero makes the play. Oquendo with a much easier play. 2 outs.
It's a much easier play because you'll see Pete start to back up on it. Oquendo's waiting for the ball to come to him, and Guerrero comes to him instead. Fortunately for the Cardinals, Guerrero makes the catch and nobody gets hurt.
Whitey Herzog, one of the few managers in a situation like this who would make the move. Think about it. 2 outs, nobody on. The Cardinals up by a run, and Whitey Herzog is striking right now.
He wants to turn Howard Johnson around to bat from the right side, where Hojo has less of a tendency.
The batter. Now, why would Whitey Herzog bring in Daly to face Johnson? Because Hojo has only 5 home runs as a right-handed batter, 21 from the left side. Granted, almost half as many at bats. 126 at bats from the right side, 235 as a left-handed hitter.
And Howard Johnson
still not as strong a hitter as a right-handed batter.
That's correct. Howard Johnson, the one player on the Mets too that Whitey Herzog likes to mess with, for lack of a better term.
He's not messing with him enough. Hojo entered the game batting .462 against Cardinal pitching this year. It's 2 balls, no strikes to Johnson. He represents a potential tying run. Strawberry on deck. Way outside, 3-0. Pendleton on the line at third, and you can certainly understand that in this situation.
Howard Johnson, a dead pull hitter.
Especially when he's this far ahead in the count.
Right.
3-0. Outside corner, 3-1.
Ozzie Smith at short, playing back in what would be the outfield grass, as is Oquendo. One of the luxuries, if there are any luxuries to artificial surface, it is that the infielders can play significantly deeper and cut off more balls.
Outside and low, so Daly walks Johnson. Ken has a fairly good. Darrell, a woeful season so far. Tight, ball 1.
And unlike last season, Darrell just has not had very much success against left-handed pitching, and at times has just looked flat awful against left-handed pitching. Whereas last year, he hit more home runs against left-handed pitching than he did right-handers.
20 of his 39 coming against left-handers last year. Ken Daly looks around to see if that was called a strike, and that's obvious disagreement with Bruce Fleming. It's 2 balls and no strikes to Strawberry.
Bruce Fremming, incidentally, the home plate umpire, in a recent poll of baseball people, was declared by on the field baseball people, managers, coaches, etc., the best umpire in the National League.
I didn't know that. I didn't see that poll. Worrell warming in the Cardinal bullpen. Strawberry going for the downs. It's 2 balls and a strike to Darrell. Worrell will be the pitcher should Strawberry get on. Outfield, of course, very deep for Strawberry. Bad swing at a pretty good pitch. A ball low and away. It's 2-2. Darrell asking Bruce Fremming if that was a strike. He said yes. Two and 2 to Strawberry. 2-1 Cardinals here in the 7th inning. There goes Johnson. Ground ball to second. Oquendo to Guerrero to end the mild threat. The Mets again fail to score. It's still 2-1. Tony is 0 for 1, but he scored the first run of the game for St. Louis in the 3rd inning. He walked and moved to second on a sacrifice and scored on a Vince Coleman triple. Coleman came in on a 2-out single by Pedro Guerrero. Ball 1 to Pena. Outside, ball 2. Tom Pagnazzi has come out to the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Ken Daly, so expect to see Worrell in the 8th. Ball 3. There's a strike, 3-1. Fastball, ripped foul, 3-2.
Frank has allowed just 3 hits, but he has walked 4 while striking out only 1. The only walk that hurt him, of course, was the leadoff walk to Pena back in the 3rd inning. Pena scored and Coleman tripled and he scored.
Fouled away. Still 3-2 to Tony Pena. Tony looked like he hurt himself with that swing. See so many rib cage injuries now on swings and check swings.
And the Cardinals have probably had more of that than anybody else.
Ted Power, the pitcher, and the winning pitcher, if the Cardinals hold on, that's how he hurt himself, swinging a bat in batting practice, hurting the rib cage. Lined up the middle base hit. So Pena with the 4th Cardinal hit is at first, and Tom Pagnazzi coming up. So Morris will try to get Pena to second base. High, ball 1.
Both Howard Johnson and Dave Magadan charging, and Keith Miller heading for first to cover there. Johnson was very aggressive and very close to Morris when the pitch crossed the plate.
And the bunts of beauty, Viola will have to go to first, so the sacrifice successful with Miller covering.
Once on a 2-strike count.
Vince Coleman, his 6th triple of the year, scored 1 run for the Cardinals, but if this ball comes down, Keith Miller's going to make the play, and Coleman's out of there.
Well, it's trying to trick you or something.
It's happened in the past.
Ozzie Smith takes a changeup that's low. 2-1 Cardinals here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 outs. Pena at second. Outside, ball 2, 2-0.
What?
Jose Oquendo on deck. And Jeff Innes now warming for the Mets.
What connection would you say Frank Viola and I have?
You live near each other.
We know each other's questions tonight.
That's
don't we?
right. We should go on a
That
game
is a
show.
switch. A high strike. 2 balls and a strike to Ozzie Smith.
And what connection do you and Frank Viola have?
None whatsoever.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Outside that, we both hit left-handed.
Well, he has yet to get a hit, so.
Change is low. 3-1 to Smith. Pena at second with 2 outs. It's 2-1 St. Louis. Todd Worrell will enter the Cardinal dugout and pitch the 8th inning. Here's Todd. Fly ball left field. It's going to be foul, and it is about 5 rows back, right above the Mets dugout. So it's 3-2 to Smith. That's what fans like. They don't like liners.
That's right. Those,
I don't
those
blame
soft.
them.
That's right.
Yeah, those nice soft pop-ups that aren't too high. When they come down, they don't bite as much.
Ooh.
Fastball is low, so Smith draws base on balls number 5 of the night for Frank Viola. And Jose Oquendo coming up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Viola lost his first 5 starts of the season. He was 0-5, and he's lost 4 of his last 5, sandwiched in between an 8-3 record. And that puts him at 8-12 on the year. The Mets giving up 5 players, 4 of whom have been named. 4 pitchers. Inside, ball 1. Change is inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Frank admittedly had temper problems when he was younger. That's certainly not unusual, trying to channel all that energy for a young player. That's quite common, as a matter of fact. He has worked on it and improved that part of his game considerably. Fly ball center field, and that should do it here in the 7th. And it does. The Cardinals threaten, fail to score. It's still 2-1 St. Louis.
To that half inning, pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre and Davey Johnson having a conversation with Frank Viola, who finds himself trailing 2-1 here going to the 8th inning. And Buddy Harrelson will be at the Mets Adult Baseball Fantasy Camp Ultimate Week. Buddy, one of the many Mets pros and former greats who will be there. And if you'd like to join Buddy and the Mets this coming February, just call 525 Mets. For information on the Fantasy Camp Ultimate Week. Here's Todd Worrell in the game as the third pitcher for New York with a 1-2 record and 15 saves on the year and a 1.21 ERA.
Kevin McReynolds 1 for 3 on the evening, and he takes ball 1. 2-1 ball game. Cardinals on top. The Mets took the lead in the first. An RBI single by Darryl Strawberry, scoring Howard Johnson. In the Cardinal third, a triple by Vince Coleman scored Tony Pena. And Pedro Guerrero with a 2-out hit plated Coleman. Grounder toward third. Off the bag, or I should say a shifting of the feet by Guerrero, and a good play. And Pendleton on the line. 1 out.
Pendleton hugging that line. They call him the magician. And about a foot from the line, he backhands it, and the throw nicely handled by Guerrero, because you really want to have the foot opposite your glove on the bag most of the time. But Pete did a good job of switching over as the throw was to the outfield side.
Dave Magadan now the batter. 7 hits for the Mets, 4 for the Cardinals. But the Cardinals lead 2-1. Grounder towards second. Oquendo. 2 outs. Oquendo with 6 chances on the evening. 5 assists and 1 putout. So Cheitos had a busy night. Stands for Little Joe in Spanish. Cheo is Big Joe. It is. Cheitos, Little Joe.
Yeah.
Cheo is Big Joe. Well, you're giving me that look.
No.
Grounded foul.
I guess Jose, no matter how old he gets, will never be called Big Joe.
No, he stopped growing. Right. But he hadn't stopped growing when he signed with the New York Mets. He signed when he was 15 years old. Playing 9 years, he's only 23. 0-1 to Barry Lyons. Popped up over toward the Cardinal dugout, and Pena can't get to it. But somebody got to him.
Looked like Jim Lindemann might have been the catcher of the catcher. Jim Lindemann's had a history of back problems. He might not want to be doing that.
Change his name to Landeman right there.
You can see Tony, he knows he's not going to get the ball. Now he wants to avoid injury as he's on the top step of that dugout. He's a handful.
No balls, 2 strikes to Barry Lyons. 2 out, nobody on here in the 8th inning. Foul back, still 0-2. If the Mets lose tonight, they will drop to 8 games behind the Montreal Expos. And that's alarming. Grounder towards short. Ozzie Smith throws out Lyons. 3 up, 3 down for the Mets here in the 8th inning after 7.5. It's 2-1 Cardinals, and we're back after this from your good old guys.
Photographer comes in the other day, and he starts taking pictures of the Supreme.
The International?
Yeah, he's got the lights and the other thing, and he's talking to the car while he says, "You're beautiful, baby. That's perfect. Hold that." Like the car's gonna move, you know? So I said, "Excuse me, Scavulo, would you actually like to buy the Supreme, or you just want the pictures for your coffee table?" And he says, "She's got such a look to her." So I said, "She?" So he puts his hands on the hood of the car, and he says, "Phoebe, I want to spend my life with you."
He was 6 months away from a normal life.
You plan on getting married when you get out of here?
Oh, yeah, that's the plan.
Until a warden obsessed with revenge
Gateway, 6 months could be a lifetime.
took his future away.
I want to know about Frank Leone.
The odds of surviving? 1,000,000 to 1. Stallone. Lock up. Rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Yeah, I put new brakes in my car last night. Did you go to Meineke? No. Why?
Before you do something dumb, remember, it's smart to come to Meineke.
This evening, our guests will receive from Birdie Travelwear a new modern tweed luggage set made of strong, extra-durable fabric. Ideal for long wear. Birdie Travelwear, available at fine stores everywhere. Also, a sharp remote control compact disc player with 8 times oversampling and 20 track programmability. The new point of view from Sharp Audio. And here with the new point of view, Steve Zabriskie.
Thank you, Timmy. You're welcome. 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Pedro Guerrero to lead it off. Pete 1 for 1 plus 2 walks takes the big breaking ball inside and low for ball 1. Pedro driving in the deciding run at this point. There are no longer official game-winning RBIs, but if the game stays as it is, Guerrero certainly would qualify, as it broke a 1-1 tie with a base hit in the 3rd inning, scoring Vince Coleman. One ball, one strike. Guerrero followed by Brunansky and Pendleton. 2-1. A drive right off the glove of Miller. Miller looked like he had it all the way, and it went right off the top of the webbing. And it's going to be an error on Keith Miller, and Guerrero aboard with nobody out here in the 8th inning.
Well, that ball had some giddy up on it, no question about it. But the ball should be caught, and it's right off the glove. Keith looked like he had it all the way. And clearly an error. And that not only gets Guerrero out of the ball game, but a pinch runner now. It looks like Scott Terry, the pitcher.
So here's Brunansky, 0 for 3, and he takes the strike. Bruno reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd, flied to center in the 3rd, and flied deep to right in the 6th. And a swing and a miss at the changeup. 1 ball, or rather, no balls, 2 strikes. Third base coach Rich Hacker going through the signs. A fastball high, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. St. Louis leading 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning with a runner at first and nobody out. The snap throw to first, and Magadan digs it out of the dirt as Brunansky strikes out for out number 1.
The changeup and Steve's soundbite earlier in the ball game. Tom Brunansky said that he would look for the changeup, but Viola really set him up with a lot of fastballs on that particular pitch, that 1-2 pitch. He had thrown him fastballs inside earlier to set up the change.
Here's Pendleton with an infield hit and 3 at-bats. And he takes outside, ball 1.
You notice Barry Lyons, the throw to first base was low. It's not wise to try to pick off a bad base runner. You don't pick off bad base runners, and most pitchers are bad base runners. So therefore, you don't even try to pick them off.
Terry has not ventured outside of the dirt cutout. And Viola throws over.
You know, why is Magadan even holding him on, really?
Fouled straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If Terry does run, it'll be on a hit-and-run play, and the jump's not necessary. Scott Terry was an outfielder when he broke in. He's now, of course, a starting pitcher for the Cardinals. But he's not going anywhere unless it's a hit-and-run play. For that reason, Magadan shouldn't be holding him on right now. 2-1 ball game. You want to be toward the fat part of the infield as much as you can.
Pendleton certainly can hit the ball the other way.
Right, yeah.
And he hits it right to Johnson at third. Good play by Hojo. Miller turns the double play, and the inning is over. An error, but nobody left in the 8th, and we go to the 9th with Frank Viola in his Mets debut, trailing St. Louis 2-1 after this for MetLife.
Are you okay? I think I got whiplash. And a concussion.
Every now and then, life hits you with some very sour notes, and doctor bills can really add up. At MetLife, we do all we can to pay your claim promptly.
Get Met. It pays.
Make the move to your Lincoln Mercury dealer's official factory clearance. With 2.9 annual percentage rate financing or up to $1,500 cash back on Cougar LS or Mercury Tracer. $1,000 cash back on Mercury Sable and Topaz. Or get $1,000 cash back only on Mercury Grand Marquis. The official factory clearance. Make your move today. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Baby, let me take you where the action's hot. Action, action park. We can ride the excitement and feel the park rock. Action, action park. The action never stops at Action Park.
Looking for a great place for the family this summer? Well, Action Park has 75 of the wildest, wettest family rides in the world just minutes away.
The action never stops at Action Park.
Boxing great Muhammad Ali, Coach Craig T. Nelson, and a whole lot of fun coming up on the next Arsenio Hall Show.
The Arsenio Hall Show tonight at 11:30 on Channel 9.
New York Mets baseball has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By RC Cola, some people will go out of their way for the taste of RC. By the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages, no other book can match it. New Jersey Bell, a Bell Atlantic company. By your Lincoln Mercury dealers, and by Tropicana.
Perfect timing, Timmy. Outstanding. As we go to the 9th inning, Mackey Sasser, the pinch hitter for Kevin Elster. Sasser hitting .278 with a home run and 18 RBI. And out on deck, Greg Jeffries as a pinch hitter for Frank Viola, who's scheduled up next. Grounded, fair ball behind the bag, dropped by Guerrero, but he picks it up in time for out number 1. It's Leon Durham now in the game at first base instead of Pete. That's right, Guerrero had a pinch runner. So Bull Durham at first.
One of the great late inning strategies is whether to guard the line or not. And if you got a guy like Mackey Sasser up there, it's prudent and appropriate to be on the line at first base because he is a pull hitter. Worrell with a good fastball. Mackey's a hacker, and that's why Durham was on the line. But you see, Pendleton isn't right now, but Durham is at first base.
So Greg Jeffries batting for Frank Viola fouls it off for strike one. Jeffries hitting .228, 4 home runs and 36 RBIs. 1 out and nobody on in the 9th inning, and the Cardinals leading 2-1. To Jeffries. Out on deck, Keith Hernandez, who would be a pinch hitter for Keith Miller. And there's the Mets. Ball 1. Jeffries, as a pinch hitter this year, is 1 for 4. Ball 2. 2-2. Just outside, 3-2. So full count to Jeffries with 1 out and nobody on.
If you're thinking a pinch hit home run, the Mets have 3, all by Mark Carrion.
Fouled away.
Lee Mazzilli did have one earlier in the year, but Lee Mazzilli now the property of the Toronto Blue Jays. Of the Mets that are currently with the Mets, there's only one player with the pinch hit home run, and that's Mark Carrion. He has 3.
Grounded to short. Ozzie vacuums it up and throws him out. 2 gone in the 9th inning.
Well, fans, did you know that every time a Mets player steals a base, you can win a new 1990 Nissan 300ZX? Just go to your participating Nissan dealer and enter the Nissan stolen base game. No purchase necessary. You must be 18 years old and a licensed driver to play. And Steve Cadella is now in the drawing for a new Nissan 300ZX. So congratulations to Steve Cadella. He also gets 2 tickets to a Mets game coming up in the next 2 months.
So here's Keith Hernandez pinch hitting with 2 out and nobody on, and he rips one foul for strike 1. Hernandez hitting .271 with 3 homers and 15 RBIs, 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter. And if the Mets don't tie this game up, the cliche will be heard around the world. Strike 2. After scoring 11 runs last night, they should have saved some. Because they've managed only 1 tonight, they are scoreless since the 1st inning. And the crowd on its feet with a 2-strike count to Hernandez and 2 out in the 9th inning. Todd Worrell trying to pick up his 16th save of the year and ruin Frank Viola's debut. Loop to left. Long run for Coleman. He can't get it. It's into the stands for a ground rule double. Hernandez in scoring position as the tying run with a pinch hit double with 2 out in the 9th.
Remember, it was Hernandez who tied it up. The pinch hit single off Mitch Williams in Sunday's game. Boy, he's just swinging with his arms right there. No effort whatsoever, and he drills it deep to left field.
Hernandez lifted in favor of Mark Carrion as a pinch hitter, and Frank Viola has life. And the Mex receives the congratulations, and rightfully so, as he keeps the Mets alive here in the 9th inning. And now Juan Samuel, 1 for 4 with a single in the 2nd inning. Fouled off the plate for strike 1. Fastball inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's his show me right there. He's just trying to move Samuel back off the plate, and he's going to go back outside. Just like that first pitch. Watch Pena move outside. That's my guess, at least.
And there goes Tony. Samuel fouls it outside third. 1-2. Frank Viola allowed just 4 hits. He did walk 5, but gave up just 2 earned runs. They came in the 3rd inning. And the crowd up again looking for that 3rd strike, or at the very least 3rd out. Low and outside, but Samuel did not go for it. 2-2. Samuel has a tendency to chase, and Worrell and Pena are trying to get him to do just that. Outside again, 3-2.
See Pena setting up. He's leaning on that left foot, and then he goes outside late. Whitey Herzog hoping Worrell stays away to Samuel.
3-2 with 2 out and a tying run at second. Grounded foul.
That was a hanger right there. That was a backup slider in the middle of the plate. And Worrell got away with one right there. Wow. One of those fat part of the plate sliders. Worrell looking down as if to say, oh, baby, thank you for fouling it off.
Samuel just out in front. So another 3-2 pitch. Ripped and a base hit to left field. Here comes Carry-On. He will score. Coleman's throw going to second. Samuel slides. He's safe. The Mets tie the game with 2 out in the top of the 9th inning on a pinch hit double by Keith Hernandez and an RBI double on a 3-2 pitch from Juan Samuel.
He didn't foul this one off. Another fat part of the plate, fastball this time. And I mean, it is ripped into left field to the point where when Coleman caught the ball, that put him back on his heels, and Samuel takes advantage of it. And the Met bench explodes. Boy, big hits have been hard to come by, but that was a big hit right there. It gives them new life.
Frank Viola cannot lose the game as the Mets tie it in the 9th, and Howard Johnson will be intentionally walked with first base open and 2 out.
Now, Johnson just wears Worrell out. 5 home runs lifetime against Todd. It's unusual. You see Johnson walk to get to Strawberry. Boy, what a difference a year makes.
Boy, you're not kidding. Darryl struggling, and Howard Johnson the most consistent hitter all year long. So the Mets have a chance to take the lead. Strawberry on the night, 1 for 4. He drove in the first New York run with a single to right back in the first inning. Oh, and 1. Back to the screen. Samuel rounds third, but he will hold, and Johnson goes down to second. So a wild pitch from Todd Worrell, and 2 runners now in scoring position for New York.
Remember last year at Shea Stadium when Ken Daly, I believe it was Daly, walked Strawberry, who was a left-handed pitcher, to get to McReynolds. Now they're walking Strawberry to get to McReynolds again. But it's a right-hander this time.
I think that should have been scored a passed ball myself.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Pena coulda, shoulda caught it.
Even though you're being mean to catchers, I agree with you.
We didn't have one in the booth, we wouldn't do that.
I know. I bring that out in you, right? But, you know, when you think about it, Darrell's been going so poorly. McReynolds off a night where he had the cycle, the first of his career last night, 4 hits, 6 RBIs. I'm not too sure I'd have done that. Only because of how poorly Strawberry has been swinging the bat and how well McReynolds has.
So we'll see how it works. McReynolds also 1 for 4 as he singled in the first. Bases loaded with 2 out. Strike called at the knees. McReynolds didn't think so, but it's 0-1. The Mets have scored 1 to tie it here in the 9th inning. A 2-out pinch hit double by Keith Hernandez, and a double to drive him in by Juan Samuel. Now the base is loaded. Popped up, coming back behind the plate, out of play, and the count 0-2. Inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. One and 2. A line drive and a base hit to center field. Samuel scores. Johnson will score. Strawberry stops at second. And Kevin McReynolds drives in 2, and the Mets lead it 4-2.
Because the previous wild pitch was scored that way, then both of those runs are earned. Out of the depths of despair have the Mets risen this evening, folks. 2 out, nobody on. Todd Worrell breezing along. He faced the minimum in the 8th inning. 3 ground balls, as a matter of fact. He'd retired 5 in a row, and out of nowhere, he's down by 2.
And it's Keith Hernandez again who comes off the bench and starts the rally. Dave Magadan, 0 for 4. Grounds one to first. Leon Durham steps on the bag, and the inning is over. But the Mets, with 3 runs in the 9th inning, lead 4-2, coming from a 2-1 deficit as we go to the bottom of the 9th. After this, for Nissan.
Once again, the last letter of the alphabet is the last word in sports cars. The new Z from Nissan.
Everybody knows that milk's for babies. So charming, disarming, whatever they do. Everybody knows that milk's for babies. And when you know it, baby, milk's for you. Soft baby skin, strong baby bones, bright baby smile, and ooh, great muscle tone. Wouldn't you know it, baby? Milk's for you. It's a health kick, baby.
Saturday is Hambletonian Family Day at Meadowlands Racetrack. This year's $1 million race features America's best trotting colt, Valley Victory, and America's #1 trotting filly, Peace Corps. Enjoy these free gifts: a Spuds MacKenzie beach towel for adults and a Hambletonian painter's cap for kids. The Paddock Park Party features free pony and kiddie rides, children's shows, and a visit by Spuds himself. Join the fun Saturday afternoon. Hambletonian Day at the Meadowlands. First race, 12 noon.
If you buy an extended warranty and then have transmission problems, you can take it to the dealer and pay a deductible. Or take it to the experts, and Lee Miles will fix it free.
Greg Jeffries stays in the game and plays third base as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Howard Johnson moving from third to shortstop, and Tim Teffel into the game to play second base. And the new pitcher in the bottom of the 9th, Randy Myers.
Randy with 15 saves on the year. Good numbers.
Milt Thompson to lead it off for the Cardinals, who now find themselves down by 2 after leading 2-1. Thompson takes a strike. He's 0 for 3. He's flied to left, grounded to second, and popped out in center field to second baseman Keith Miller. Just missing low, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets with 3 in the 9th. Keyed by Keith Hernandez, 2 out, pinch hit double. Ball, 2 strikes. So Frank Viola in his Mets debut left the game a loser, now stands to be the winner. Well hit deep to right center field. Samuel on the run, can't get to it. Thompson cruises into second with a leadoff double. That ball's probably a home run in any other park in the National League, and the Cardinals can bring the tying run to the plate.
The problems that Randy Myers has had this year almost mirrors the problems that the Mets have had. The almost but not quite. Randy has not been able to finish off hitters like he did last year. His control has been poor. He's already walked 9 more than he did all of last year. And it's really that inability to finish off the hitters. The 2 strikes have come easy, but not that third one.
Tony Pena takes high, ball 1. Pena tonight 1 for 2 plus a walk. He singled his last time up with a rope to center field in the 7th inning. He walked it, scored back in the 3rd. Fouled off hard. 1-1. Tom Pagnozzi is out on deck again as a pinch hitter for Todd Worrell.
Yeah, he's the only right-handed hitter the Cardinals have left. They have Tim Jones and Denny Walling as pinch hitters, but both of them are left-handed.
Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. A little bit high, 3-1. So Pena, who loves to swing the bat, in a good hitting situation here. Strike 2. Pena surprisingly taken. He didn't think it was a strike, however, and it's 3-2.
That's that ball you can hammer. I mean, that's Tony's long ball pitch right there. That ball down and in. You're going to hit one out. That's it. Tony looking at Bruce Scrimming. But whether that ball's a strike or not, insignificant. I think, Tony, I agree with you. You should have offered it that.
Broken bat, grounded to short. Johnson will go to first. Thompson, of course, has to hold at second now with 1 out.
It's funny about at-bat, Steve. You know, you take a 3-1 pitch in that situation, and that ball was hammerable. And now Myers raises that pitch up a little bit and jams Pena on the 3-2 pitch. You're more defensive on the 3-2 count. You can leave your feet 3-1 or 2-0. So even though that appears to be a case where Myers just made the pitch, it's a case where Tony could have swung 3-1 and had it given himself a much better chance.
And it's another case where the pitch before has a lot to do with what actually and eventually happens.
Right.
So here's Pagnazzi hitting 161, and he pops it out of play for strike 1. No homers, 2 RBIs on the year for Tom. Batting for Todd Worrell. And as was the case with Pena, he represents the tying run. That appeared to be out of the strike zone, and it's now out of the field of play. 0-2. Milt Thompson led off the 9th with a deep double to right center field. And 1 hopped the wall. And he's still there with 1 away. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 9th inning with the Mets leading 4-2. Bruce Fleming almost went up with the right hand, but chose not to. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball deep to right. Strawberry backpedals and on the track makes the catch. Thompson tags and goes to third. Now with 2 out.
And I'll tell you what, that seems like an insignificant play that Thompson just did, but it's not, because if Coleman walks now, that clears second base for him to steal, and he most certainly will if he gets on first via the walk route. Darrell makes a rather easy play of that, and it's not stretching to say that even though Pagnazzi made an out, he at least got Thompson to third, and if Coleman does walk, then he steals second, and he's a potential tying run.
All of which points up the fact that Thompson's run in and of itself is insignificant. This is the guy right here that the Mets have to keep off the bases. And at the very optimum situation, make sure he is the third out to end the ball game. So 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. Thompson at third, and Coleman, who is 1 for 4 with a triple and a run scored, takes a strike. Coleman drove in the first Cardinal run in the 3rd inning with a triple to right field, and then was driven in by a Pedro Guerrero single. One and one. Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Myers a strike away from making Frank Viola's Mets debut a success. A base, no. Yep, a base hit up the middle. Tuffle couldn't get it. Thompson scores, and Coleman is at first base. It is now 4-3, and Vincent Van Gogh can go and will go.
Well, the one thing you have to realize is you're going to have to get Ozzie Smith out regardless of what happens. Coleman gets the base hit, the high chopper. It's insignificant that Thompson scores because his run, in effect, is no good. The big thing is that second base is clear. I'd bear down on the hitter, not even think about a pitch out.
Ozzie Smith pops it up, and this should be the ball game. Greg Jeffries in foul territory, and the Mets have come back with a victory that at the end of the season may loom very large. 3 runs in the 9th inning, being down by 1 and holding on in the bottom of the 9th to win it 4-3. Frank Viola gets his first National League victory, and Randy Myers in the 9th gets his 16th save.
There was one other game that I can remember that may have pulled the Mets together. That was when Cincinnati, Rob Dibble hit Tim Tuffle, and the next day the Mets came out smoking the Juan Samuel. Well, it was Samuel the hero tonight. And I can't think of another game this season where the Mets have had more pizzazz at the end of the game and more of a free-spirited feeling. And it's nice to see them that way, really, because it's been a season filled with frustration.
They eased a little bit of it in the last 2 nights with 11-0 win last night, and then this Sterling come from behind victory 4-3. Tim and I'll be back with a final word from St. Louis after this for Anheuser-Busch.
Brewing is an art. I've done it for years. I love working with nature's own ingredients. I love carrying on a skill that's been passed down for generations. And I love reaching that moment when a good beer becomes a great one. We brew our beer with great care. It just isn't right to abuse it.
It takes years of experience and knowledge. And hours of hard work. It's called teamwork. At Manufacturers Hanover, teamwork means performance. To solve intricate financial challenges, you have to be able to pull together.
The AT&T Pro Watts offer ends August 10th, so you have only a few days left.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, We'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor.
Call 1-800-222-0400 and save 10 to 26% or more with AT&T Pro Watts. And that's not all. You get distance-sensitive pricing, a detailed record of individual calls, and AT&T Pro Watts works on your regular business lines. What's more, during this special offer, if you need to switch from dedicated to regular business lines, we'll pay you up to $150 for every dedicated line you replace. So call today and save 10 to 26% or more. Offer ends August 10th, 1989.
Coming up next in Channel 9 News, we've got some incredible video to show you. A plane forced into an emergency landing. We'll look back 10 years after the death of Yankee great Thurman Munson. It's a musical tribute to his career. Also, some East Meadow Little Leaguers are all abuzz over their hero Frank Viola's debut tonight. Also ahead, the Navy makes a move in the wake of the Lebanon hostage situation, plus chaos at a supermarket checkout. Join us next.
Steve Zabriskie and Tim McCarver back with you in St. Louis, where the Mets pulled it out with 3 runs in the ninth and then held on as the Cardinals scored 1 in the bottom of the ninth to win it in dramatic fashion 4-3. And Timmy, I know it's early from the standpoint that the changes that the Mets have made with Samuel, with now the trade for Viola,
Jeff Musselman
coming on, whether or not the shakeup, and I think that's probably the best term to use, has made a difference. But certainly, and you pointed it out at the end of the game, the last 2 nights, and especially late in the game here for the first time in a long time, there appears to be a little different attitude on the team.
Well, the character of this team has certainly changed dramatically since the trades, and it remains to be seen whether it's a successful chemistry.
2 wins in a row, however, can't hurt. And tonight, the Budweiser player of the game, Frank Viola, coming home to New York. The St. John Star, in his first National League game, pitches 8 innings, gives up just 2 runs on 4 hits. He struck out 2 and walked 5, and wins it. His overall record now 9-12 with his first win. Randy Myers picks up his 16th save of the year, and the losing pitcher Todd Worrell falls to 1-3. Timmy?
So in New York now, they're changing those middle vowels from Viola to Voila.
Voila.
Voila. Fans, be with us again tomorrow when the Mets take on the same St. Louis Cardinals at 1:30 p.m. right here on WWOR-TV. The executive producer of Mets Baseball 89 is Rick Miner. Produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. The associate producer, Steve Olbaum. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises. And this has been a presentation of WWOR-TV Sports. Sleep fast, everybody. See you soon.